Just two afternoon games in the NFL this week. I assume that they thought the second one was going to be a marquee game. It is not, but we'll kick things off here with the Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals are 1.5 to 2 point home favorites in this one. 49.5 is the total. Steven, you and I talked about this a little bit earlier in the week. Look, the market disagrees with my power ratings. I have the Seahawks a full 8 spots ahead of where I have the Cardinals, and yet the Cardinals are favorites in this game. We know home field doesn't really mean anything these days. So if we give it a point even, that still has the Cardinals favored on a neutral, and that's just not how I have it, right? And yet, why have I not played the Seahawks? I think, look, I probably will before it's all said and done. Probably just a money line play for me. I don't think I need the 2 points. I think it's probably just, if the Seahawks going to do well in this game, they probably just win it outright. I don't think there's going to be any weirdness where I need the 2 points. The one thing that we should bring up, and we talked about it a ton, and everyone's been talking about it a ton, and as they should have, is how bad that defense was for the Seahawks the first 4 weeks of the season. Well, fast forward to week 5, and if you filter weeks 5 to 8, this Seahawks defense is actually one of the better in the NFL. And so, look, the overall season statistics are going to show you that they're still bad. But again, week 5 to 8, they are the 6th overall defense in EPA per play allowed. I mean, like this is a defense that has really turned it around. And I don't think that that's just noise. I think that there is, I rag on Pete Carroll as much as anybody, but look, this dude's coached up a bunch of defenses, right? I mean, like they've had a bunch of good defenses under his watch, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if it took him a little bit of time with, some of these younger guys and things like that to get them really rocking and rolling. But again, since week 5, the number 6th overall defense in the NFL as far as EPA per play allowed. And so, again, the market disagrees with me. This is Seattle for me all day long. Like I said, I'll probably just end up playing the money line.
I'm with you. Just for those that missed last week's show, you mentioned that little blip in the radar for the Seattle defense in the middle of the season. Those 2 games, they played more than 40% man snaps, and the rest of the season, they've been under 20%. A lot of games where they've been under 12%. So they did some self-scouting, it appears, went back to a primarily zone defense, and it's worked really well for them. And they've been stopping quarterbacks like Kyler Murray once already, Justin Herbert. They roughed up as well. So I think the defense is legitimate. And Matt, we saw this last year with the Bengals. I think, it's for whatever reason, when you have a team that has bottom of the barrel expectations coming into the season, it just appears the market is really slow to adjust to that team if they are actually a good team. And I think this is a good spot to continue to back Seattle as a dog here. Arizona is 30th in yards per play on offense. And, for the people out there, their public opinion saying, well, DeAndre Hopkins is back. What are they now? Okay, well, the Cardinals were 22nd in yards per play over the past 3 weeks. So it's not some substantial improvement they've had with DeAndre Hopkins. And on defense, Arizona's bad. They are below league average across the board when it comes to their defense. This is just the market being too slow to adjust to Seattle, in my opinion.
And Adam, the total's sitting at 49.5. Look, the one thing that Arizona defense does is they blitz a ton. And if there's one knock on Geno Smith so far this year, it's when blitzed, he is just middle of the pack. I mean, he's not bad. He's average, right? Slightly below. I think he's 17th in the NFL or something versus the blitz. And so, I don't know if 49.5 isn't a tick too high. If we believe that this Seahawks defense, if the handicap is we believe that this defense is better and they're going to prevent more points being scored, and we don't think that the Arizona offense is anything to write home about, I'm wondering if the market is also slow to react to the fact that maybe these totals don't need to be bloated as much anymore with Seattle playing a little bit better.
So I think what you probably would want to look at if you want to play the total in this game is to look at a first half total, because what tends to happen with the Arizona Cardinals is the scripted plays do not work. And Kyler Murray allowed to play schoolyard football does work. And so if you look at a first half total of 24, then maybe you have confidence that you don't get involved in the Wild West shootout of Kyler Murray late in the game. And the fact that we saw the Seahawks very late into that game against the Giants still willing to take shots down the field. In fact, The Seahawks put up 4 touchdowns last week. Tyler Lockett dropped the most obvious touchdown that you'll ever see directly out of his hands. It could have been even worse against the Giants last week. But I'm not trying to advocate against myself out both sides of my mouth. I'm saying if you want to play under, I would look at under in the first half because the Cards are so bad on scripted offense. They're one of the worst in the league EPA per play on their first 15 to 20 plays. Now, that being said, let me read to you a few futures that went into my account this week, and I wrote this to you guys, quote, despite the fact that I loathe Pete Carroll. Seattle over 8.5 wins, minus 130. Seattle, yes, playoffs, plus 126. Geno Smith, comeback player of the year, plus 260. And what a lot of that is for me is both buying into the Seahawks defense, like Matt said, I don't need to repeat all those numbers, but also look at their path in the NFC. I know how well the schedule sets up for the New York Giants, and trust me, as a Giants fan, I'm hoping it continues the way that it has. That being said, Seattle now owns the tiebreaker over the Giants, so they don't have to overtake them. They just have to get even with them. Talk about Geno for comeback player of the year. Show me a full season of Saquon Barkley's health, and I will buy into a minus number on comeback player of the year for Saquon Barkley. I will always take a quarterback over a running back when it comes to an award. So all of those things add in to the fact that I have the Seahawks plus 8.5 in a teaser. I love what you guys are talking about here when it comes to potentially getting involved with them even deeper than that. But I'm in. I watched them last week against the Giants. I've seen what they've been able to do to coach this defense up. I'm in on the Seahawks being at least a league average team.
I'll tell you right now, man, I think from a Seahawks standpoint, when you with the make the playoffs, like I think where we sit right now is where I think the teams that are in right now are the teams that are going to be in the playoffs. I do not see the Rams or the Bucks or the Packers or the Commanders or any of these teams making a big second half surge. I think it's Eagles, Vikings, Seahawks, Cowboys, Giants, Niners, and then, whatever ends up happening in the South, in the NFC South, right? I mean, like whoever ends up coming out of the South, like I think those are the teams that are going to make the playoffs. And so I'm with you. I think that is a really good play as well.